If you liked the video, feel free to subscribe. It would really help the channel, and we have battle reports, boarding actions, and list videos every week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Talons of the Emperor List Roundup. This is the next video in our List Roundup series. Tips and Tricks Part 3 will be out next week, and then we'll start our deployment and our specific Custodes versus another faction guides. I have 8 Talons of the Emperor lists for this one, 6 2,000 point lists, and 2 1,000 point lists. For the 2,000 point list, we have 2 tournament ready lists, 2 Codex lists but still competitive, and then the last 2 are more fun but still competent lists. For our 2 1,000 point lists, we have a competitive list and a Codex list. As I built these lists, it made me really appreciate Talons of the Emperor more. I think I'm going to play some more on the channel and really explore what we can do with this detachment. Let's start these lists out strong with our tournament ready lists. These are the ones that I would bring to a tournament right now if I was going to play a tournament this weekend. Our first one is the Warden's Law Infantry List. It is different from the Shield Host one. It is 2,000 points. Our Warlord is Valerian. For our characters, we have a Blade Champion with the Aegis Projector. That is the one that zeroes out a damage every player turn. A Blade Champion with no enhancements. For our battle line, we have a unit of 5 Custodian Guard, 4 with the Guardian Spears, 1 with the Vexilla, Shield, and Misericordia. For our other data sheets, we have 2 units of 5 Wardens. They have Guardian Spears and the Vexilla. Then we have a unit of 4 Wardens, 4 with the Guardian Spears, 1 with the Vexilla. And all those will be joining the Blade Champion and the Valerian. The 4-man will be going with the Blade Champion that has no enhancements. We have 2 units of 3 Venatari, both of them with Venatari Lances, 2 units of 4 Witch Seekers, and a unit of 5 Prosecutors, just for spreading out on our home objective to screen that extra bit. Our dedicated transports, we have 2 Psychona Rhinos, both of them with the Hunter-Killer missiles. And then finally, our allied units, we have Inquisitor Draxus to join up with that Custodian Guard squad. The strengths for this list, mid-board control and primary scoring will be strong with all these Wardens. Secondary scoring should be pretty good too with all the Rhinos going around, the Witch Seekers, and we do have the Venatari if we need them to. Lots of Psychonic units to spread that detachment rule, that 5-up feel no pain. And the Draxus and Guard unit can melt infantry units quite easily. The weakness is there's no ranged anti-tank. Backline screening will be hard once we start moving up our army. And damage modifiers, once again, will be hard since there's mostly Guardian Spears in this list. Next up is the Warden's Law, but with tanks. 2,000 points. Our Warlord is Valerian. Our 2 characters, we have 2 Blade Champions, no enhancements this time. Our battle line, we have a 4-man unit of Custodian Guard, 3 Spears, 1 Vexilla, Shield, and Misericordia. For our other data sheets, we do have 3 units of 5 Custodian Wardens. They have Guardian Spears and the Vexilla. We have 2 Caladius Grav Tanks for some anti-tank, both with the twin Arachnus Heavy Blaze Cannons. 2 units of 4 Witch Seekers once again, a smaller unit of Prosecutors, only 1 dedicated transport this time, our Psychona Rhino with the Hunter-Killer missile, and our allied unit is once again Draxus to join up with that 4-man of Custodian Guard. The strengths for this list, ranged anti-tank will be quite strong with those Caladius Grav Tanks. 3 units of 5 Wardens, our objective control should be quite strong. The Draxus Guard unit can once again delete infantry quite easily, and a fair amount of Psychonic units for that 5-up feel no pain. The weaknesses, secondary scoring, it won't be horrible though, it just won't be as strong as some of those lists with the Calidus Assassin riding around getting a bunch of points in secondary with the uppy downy. Our damage modifiers once again will hurt. The tanks will help shooting into those -1 damage, half damage things, but once again there's a lot of spears in this list and it will bring them down to damage 1. There's not a lot of deep strike threat in this list. We'll probably have the Blade Champion with the 4 Wardens in deep strike just to come down if we need them somewhere. And these are my Talons of the Emperor tournament ready lists. Let's move on to the Talons of the Emperor Codex lists. On to our 2 Codex 2,000 points lists. We'll start off with our Codex Infantry List. Our Warlord is Valerian. For our characters, we do have Alea, a Shield Captain, and Alaris with that Gift of Terran Artifice, just for a little bit of extra melee damage. 2 Blade Champions. For our other data sheets, we have a 5-man unit of Alaris Custodians with the Guardian Spears to join with that Shield Captain. 3 units of 5 Wardens, all with the Guardian Spears and Vexilla. They will join the Blade Champions and Valerian. we have a big 10 unit of Vigilators to join a Leia, a small unit of Witchseekers, and a small unit of Prosecutors. We do have 2 Psychona Rhinos. A Leia and the Vigilators will be going in one, and the Witchseekers will going in the other one, just to give us that 6-inch scout to the Rhino. The strengths for this list: lots of objective control with those 3x5 Wardens. A Leia and the Vigilators unit gives us a fights first threat, and there's lots of Psychona units to spread these auras around the board for that 5-up feel no pain. The Shield Captain with Alaris can reduce the cost of CP stratagem some, and this can be helpful, especially in the Talons of the Emperor, where there is a lot of good stratagem, especially that reactive move one. Our weaknesses: we have no ranged anti-tank, and damage modifiers will hurt, since it will bring these Guardian Spears down to damage 1. And there's not many chaff units in this list. Everything pretty much has a leader. There is a few units, but there's not a lot of chaff. Our next Talons of the Emperor list is a Codex Combined Arms List, and this one comes to 2,000 points. Our Warlord is a Blade Champion with the Aegis Projector Enhancement, and that one is the one that can zero out a damage every player turn. For our characters, we have a Blade Champion with the Gift of Terran Artifice, just for a little extra punch, and a Shield Captain on Dawn Eagle Jetbike to zoom around and hopefully get some secondaries. For our other datasheets, we have 2 units of 5 Wardens with the Guardian Spears and the Vexilla, a unit of 5 Alaris Terminators. There is no Shield Captain to join them with, but these are still quite deadly in Talons. With their shooting, they can clear out hordes quite easily. 2 units of 4 Witchseekers. We do have a unit of 5 Prosecutors for standing on our home objective. Just another extra body in there to screen out a little bit. We do have 2 Venerable Land Raiders just for our Wardens to ride in on and hopefully charge out of that, get a little protection and a little bit of anti-tank shooting. Finally, 2 Psychona Rhinos with the Hunter-Killer Missiles. We'll be putting our Witchseekers in those. The strengths for this list: we do have ranged anti-tank from the Land Raiders. No, it is not as good as the Caladius Grav Tanks, but it is better than nothing. 4 transports will give us some potential speed, since we won't have to foot slog most of our army up the board, and secondary scoring should be quite strong with all these Witchseekers and Rhinos driving around. Our weaknesses: screening our back lines will be quite hard. We're going to be pushing a lot of our army forward, just leaving those Prosecutors behind. We only have 3 tough Custodes infantry units with the Wardens and the Alaris Terminators. There is 4 vehicles in this list, and 2 being Land Raiders. Terrain could hinder the movement of this list. It depends on the terrain and how it's set up. And that is our 2,000 point Codex list. Let's move on to more of the fun list, something you could try with some friends or for some casual games. These next 2 lists are our more fun casual lists. They still should be quite competent though. So the first one is our returning Knight Stodes. It is built a little different this time. Once again, 2,000 points. Our Warlord is the Blade Champion with the Aegis Projector, just to help zero out some damage. Our characters, we have a Blade Champion with that Gift of Terran Artifice, just to punch out a little extra damage. For our other data sheets, we only have 2 units of Wardens in this list, both of them with the 5 Spears in the Vexilla. 2 Caladius Grav Tanks with the twin Arachnus Heavy Blaze Cannons. 3 units of 4 Witchseekers, a unit of 4 Prosecutors, and for our ally units we have Canis Rex and the Calidus Assassin. The strengths for this list: ranged anti-tank will be quite strong. Rex can smash out Catan in melee. Secondary scoring should be pretty good. There is lots of Psychona units to spread around that detachment rule for that 5-up feel no pain against psychic attacks. Our weaknesses: there's only 2 tough Custodes units with the Wardens. We do need Rex to get in close to do some real damage with his melee, and board control might be harder with fewer Custodes infantry units in the list. And let's move on to the last casual list, and is our need for speed. For 2,000 points, our Warlord is the Blade Champion, once again with the Aegis Projector. I just like that enhancement. Our characters, we have a Blade Champion and then a Shield Captain on Dawn Eagle Jetbike. For our other data sheets, we once again 2 units of 5 Wardens with the Spears in the Vexilla, 2 units of 3 Venatari with the Lances, and then 3 units of Virtus Praetors, 1 a 3-man with the Salvo Launchers, and then 2 2-mans with the Salvo Launchers. 2 small Witchseeker units, a 5 model Prosecutor unit, once again just to spread out a little bit on our home objective. Finally, our dedicated transports, 2 Psychona Rhinos with the Hunter-Killer Missile. The strengths of this list is going to be very fast for a Custodes list. Most of the time you just have an average movement of 6. There's a lot of movement 10, movement 12 in this list, so it's going to be quite speedy. Secondary scoring should be quite good as well. A lot of the melee weapons have the Lance ability, so we'll be able to get +1 to wound when we charge. The weakness is there's no ranged anti-tank. Yes, we do have the salvo launchers, but those are only strength 9, AP2, damage 3. You're not going to be taking out vehicles left and right with those. Our backline screening will be hard once we pushed our speedy units up ahead. And last, there's only 2 tough units of Wardens in the list. And I will be joining the Shield Cabinet with that bigger 3-man unit of Virtus Praetors. And those are our casual lists. I think the speed one will be pretty fun, and the Knight Custodes will be pretty fun with Canis Rex. So these should be pretty fun, but still competent lists. Let's move on to the 2 Talons of the Emperor 1,000 point lists. Our first one is our competitive list. It comes to 995 points, not quite the 1,000. Our Warlord is going to be a Blade Champion with no enhancements. We do have 4 Custodian Guard in our battle line, 3 with Spears and 1 with the Vexilla, Shield, and Misericordia. For our other data sheets, we have a unit of 4 Wardens, 4 Guardian Spears, and 1 Vexilla. We do have a Caladius Grav Tank with the Twin Arachnus Heavy Blaze Cannon, 3 small units of Prosecutors, a Psychona Rhino with the Hunter Killer Missile, and for our allied units, we have Inquisitor Draxus to join up with the Custodian Guard, and we'll join the Blade Champion with the Wardens. The strengths for this list, it does have some anti-tank threat with that Caladius Grav Tank. We do have some good anti-infantry shooting with that Draxus unit, being able to pump out some devastating wounds onto infantry and hopefully get those rerolls with the Custodian Guard. The primary scoring should be quite strong on this list. The weakness is we only have 2 tough Custodes units in the list. Early board control will be hard. We don't have the Witch Seekers to scout up the board. We just have Prosecutors in this list. And secondary scoring might be a bit hard in this one, since we don't have any Witch Seekers or any kind of Assassins in this list. Next up is our Talons of the Emperor Codex Infantry List for 995 points. Our Warlord this time will be Valerian. Our characters, we have a Leia and a Blade Champion with no enhancements. For our other data sheets, we have 2 units of 4 Wardens. Both of them have the 4 Guardian Spears and the Vexilla. A big unit of 10 Vigilators to join a Leia. 2 units of 4 Witch Seekers and a Psychona Rhino. We'll put one of these Witch Seekers inside the Rhino just so we can scout the Rhino ahead 6 inches. The Rhino does have a Hunter Killer Missile, and this is our All Codex Infantry List. The strengths for this list, we have 2 tough units of Wardens. They are only 4-man units, but since this is a smaller point list, I think the 4-mans are still quite fine. A Leia with the 10 Vigilators gives us a deadly fights first threat. The board control should be pretty strong in this list, since we do have some Witch Seekers to scout forward. For our weaknesses, there is no ranged anti-tank. Our backline screening will be pretty hard. Anti-infantry shooting will be quite deadly to this list. And those are our 2 1,000 point Talons of the Emperor lists. Let's move on to some final thoughts. Now for some final thoughts. The stratagem supporting the Talons of the Emperor is the best in the Codex. Talons is our best detachment when played at a high level. I hope at least one of these lists interests you or makes you think about some other possible lists. I have some orc lists as well, and it may be time to do a full breakdown of the Null Maiden Visual Detachment. I know I've skipped it a lot so far, so it might be time to do a full breakdown of it. Subscribe for weekly battle reports, list videos, and other Warhammer 40K content. Thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by.